Okay, greetings and welcome. It is Thursday, July 31st of 2025. And let me try that again with the microphone in the right spot. Greetings and welcome. Thursday, July 31st, 2025. This is the Eccentric Perspective. I am your host, Blake Wally, and I will be covering the latest news and current events. We shall see. We'll leave the timeline open. And lots of big stories to talk about today. Of course, this is the thumbnail. Is the deep state caught in a trap? This is something I had drawn up by Grok. It's a little weird. I was trying to see if he could design something with the Obama and Hillary getting caught in a mouse trap, like the big old board game mousetrap, and that's kind of what it came up with. So that looks a little funky with the AI pictures. We're actually going to get Grok to do video in another year or two. This is still Grok 3. I haven't upgraded to Grok 4, so we'll have to see. But the AI is only going to get better from here. But yeah, anyway, it's colorful enough and weird enough. I'm going to run with it. So there's your top story. Deep state caught in a trap. Of course, we've got some other headlines to go to. Yeah, here's the mousetrap game if we need a reference. Here's what it looks like. How about a picture of Obama and Hillary caught in a trap, like the device from the board game? But anyway, here are the headlines for today. Here's what I have on tap. So, is the trap been set for Obama's path to prison? And Hillary, did she collude with the FBI to deflect from her own scandals? The deep state, did they threaten whistleblowers over an ICA, Intelligence Community Assessment? And the Pelosi family, should they be investigated for insider trading? And is it time to increase AIPAC's influence in Washington? And should we nix the deal with a trade deal with Canada because of the aiding Palestine? And anti-Zionists, should they be kicked off of social media apps? And finally, minorities, are they being banned from American Eagle shops since they've decided to embrace their inner Nazi and put the Aryan-looking, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Sydney Sweeney as the cover girl on their new advertising campaign? Maybe. We'll get into that. I guess everybody else is. It's still a major thing. But yeah, there we go. That's what's on tap, unless we go steer in different directions. I know there's documents supposedly being there's some new ones that have been launched today. I don't know if there's more coming. I've kind of been off of Twitter for the last hour getting prepared for this. But if anybody noticed anything, please feel free. You're encouraged to drop a line in the chat. See if we have any breaking news on the as Russiagate seems to be imploding, exploding. It's coming apart at the seams, and it may wind up with some high-level arrests once it's all said and done. Looks like they're uncovering more evidence. Some of it was set to allegedly get destroyed by the FBI, and it was in some secret room in the FBI headquarters. They found, if we believe that, and yeah, I think we'll go with it anyway. Certainly newsworthy. But yes, this is a historic broadcast covering the greatest scandals of our lifetimes, I suppose, and this is just one of them. And there's a few parts of that to break down. So why don't I run the very quick intro? I'm gonna wet my whistle. We'll be back on the other side of this quick break, and we'll start digging into the juicy stuff. So stick around. I'll be right back. We're back. So we have John Solomon here getting into part of the headline, the co-headline. John Solomon saying that Obama can now be summoned before a grand jury and he cannot plead the fifth due to presidential immunity. But one lie as a private citizen could destroy it all. Hence the potential trap here, which is also said by the old X22 report. Good old Dave here been talking about the DC establishment panicking for years. And maybe that was true, maybe not, but they should be now, because it does look like they have caught themselves in a mess of their own making. So why don't we run this clip here from John Solomon.
I want to address Obama for a second. I know President Trump has every right to be frustrated with him. I think President Trump's analysis last week was right. I think my immunity rule might protect him on the original charges. That's what most legal experts tell me, that ruling is so sweeping it will protect Obama for what he did in office. However, Barack Obama can now be summoned before a grand jury. He cannot take the Fifth Amendment because he has immunity from prosecution. He'll have to tell the truth. If he lies as a private citizen about what he did as president, he'll no longer have that immunity. And that is a trap that Obama is sitting potentially facing. And I want to say the irony to that, because on January 5th, 2017, he presided over a meeting in the White House where the FBI had just cleared Mike Flynn of any wrongdoing. And they schemed in that meeting how they might be able to jam up Mike Flynn. And they came up with the idea, we'll lure him into an interview, catch him into a lie, and then prosecute him that way. Barack Obama now is about to face a potential similar situation as the one he created unfairly for Mike Flynn.
Oh, let that be a poetic ending to everything. Doing it to themselves. I know he's got a birthday coming up. It's not going well. It's not been a very good year for Obama. Got the chef scandal, then the potential divorce. Been under the microscope, and now looks like he's set for some big criminal charges, big prosecution. And hello, Mimi. Yes, certainly is. We finally get to see maybe some accountability in our lifetime. It's been a long time coming, but again, we can only speculate. And until somebody finally goes down, we can break out the champagne and celebrate, as we all deserve it. So we've been glued into this. It's been a very intense number of years, and it took a long time for this for the narrative to change. And I guess the miracle of getting Trump back in and getting his own people in there to go through the deep state machinery. And they're finding some really incredible things, like locked away in secret rooms or safes. Yeah, hopefully, because otherwise, I mean, what are we going to do? If nothing happens during this term, we're only 6 months in. So, like 1/8 of the way. But if nothing's done, if nobody goes to jail by the end of Trump's term, then what do they say? Katie, bar the door. Because the deep state is probably going to come around and start going after people. They tried throwing Trump in jail. They threw all the J6 people in jail. They love throwing people in jail and trying to go on the fishing expeditions, accusing people of something, and then trying to fish for the evidence to stick. So they ain't playing. So it's either us or them. Now they're in control. Here's that window. So go do something. And I think they are. They are really crushing the deep state, at least in the court of public opinion. And now it's time to prosecute them. Here's, speaking of which, General Mike Flynn demanding prosecution of Obama and the deep state minions for conspiring to overthrow the United States. We now need to see some accountability. Absolutely. And if they would have had their way, Hillary would have been elected. Trump would be in jail or dead. They would be persecuting everyone in the MAGA community for any number of different things, weaponizing the intelligence and the law enforcement against everybody, like they had already done, like they had been getting away with for so long. TK Mark is very impatient. So, TK Mark, if you were the Attorney General for a week, who would you arrest and why? Or do you think that would be getting ahead of yourself? Or, I mean, this is a lot of this stuff is all new. It's like, oh, okay, we're just hearing about this for the first time in the last couple of weeks. And there's still more information to come. I don't know. Or do you make the arrest right away when you have a little something? Or do you wait till you have them dead to rights and the public is outraged and they're demanding there's some accountability? I don't know. It's a matter of speculation. So I don't know. No arrests that I am aware of yet. But okay, the tide has turned, and you got to be happy with the last couple of weeks, man. I mean, what if nothing had been done? What if Tulsi didn't say anything? What if there, what if they never promised anything with RFK, MLK, JFK? What if none of that stuff came out? I mean, there's some good things happening. No criminal cases are not charged nor handled in this manner. But this is going to be new. This has never been done here in the United States, this high level. At least, even when Nixon went down, he resigned over nothing. But I mean, going after the top people from the Obama administration is going to be a pretty big task. It's not easy to just jump in and start arresting people. But at some point, it may become inevitable. So here's a retired lieutenant. Yeah, Michael Flynn should be outraged as they pretty much destroyed him and his career. So the former national security advisor and one of the most persecuted patriots of the Russiagate hoax issued a fiery call for justice, demanding, prosecution of Obama and deep state allies for a criminal conspiracy to overthrow the U.S. government and sabotage the will of the people. And, okay, so he's even calling out Ambassador Rice. Well, they knew. They set him up. Highlighting a part where it's President Obama asking if Comey was saying that the NSC should not pass sensitive information related to Russia to Flynn. Comey relied potentially. But they are, trying to trap Flynn and ended up getting rid of him. So we'll see. Is anyone going to be held to account?
John Brennan, Jim Clapper, Jim Comey, Susan Rice, all these people that continue to this day to undermine this country's constitutional system of government. It's like, when is somebody going to be held to account? That's what the American people want to see. Never mind Epstein and P. Diddy. Give me a break.
Okay. There you have it. President Trump posting 2 spicy memes on Truth Social targeting the traitor Obama and others responsible for the Russia collusion hoax. Saying, yes, it's time to indict. And this is a good thing. This would speak to TK Mark here. Until this happens, nothing will change. Exactly. we have that frustration. But there is so much new information just in the last couple of weeks, and more to come. They can't hide. There is a reckoning happening. There are some very positive developments, but until somebody gets arrested, no one's going to believe it, and that's absolutely legit. That is perfectly acceptable to believe that, and it sucks. It's just it's the waiting game. Hello, Rob. Yes. Snake Plissken. I'm almost there. I'm getting there. I'll have it by Halloween, I think. I don't know. Do the Snake Plissken or Jesus look? One or the other. I don't know if I can get my hair that long though. Well, we'll see. Give myself a few options there. But great to have you. Thanks, Rob. Okay. I think that's it on that one. So getting back to the headlines. The trap has been set for Obama's path to prison. Yes, it looks like there is a way to go after him. This is doable. So it'll be interesting to see if they can bring him up there and get him to squirm. Like I said, I think the tide is turning. So we'll see what happens. But this is pretty historical stuff. So I guess the next topic would be Hillary. She's going to be connected to this. That she colluded with the FBI to deflect from her own scandals. Well, here it is. Now we have newly disclosed. This was today. This was just within several hours. Senator Chuck Grassley releasing newly declassified annex from former special counsel John Durham's report, saying it contains previously classified information exposing a reported Clinton campaign plan to falsely tie President Trump to Russia. So they've been planning on this. It's all coming apart. You know, we figured that they were doing this for years, but we didn't have the actual smoking gun proof. But this will add to it. So the newly declassified documents, Hillary Clinton personally approved the Trump-Russia hoax. Again, it's not necessarily directly from her, but this is organized by her and her campaign. And you better believe she signed off on all this. Cooked up the dossier. And they played around with the FBI as they were and found out through the Russians they were planning to go with it. This is something they wanted to do, distract from her email because she was under fire, using a private server in her home, deleting 30,000 some emails. DNC had major scandals going down 2016, causing DNC Debbie to step down. A lot of issues. So they had to kind of twist the narrative and try to get it on Trump. Blamed a nemesis or a superpower to try to sell that to the people. So on July 25th of 2016, Leonardo Bernardo, let's see, he was a top official at George Soros's Open Society, and he was having an emails sending back and forth with Clinton campaign advisor Julie Smith. So this Leonardo Bernardo sent an email confirming the FBI was working with Hillary Clinton to demonize Putin and Trump, And the media analysis on the DNC hacking appears solid. They're saying this is an important story because it would be the first time that we know of that a state deliberately uses the infiltration and publication of data to interfere in the U.S. election. So, yeah, this is email. Now, because it's not directly from Hillary, but these are some high-level people behind the scenes and part of the running the campaign, putting together strategy, prop her up, distract from her scandals, and cook one up against her opponent. And then use all that cooked up info to sick the FBI to go spy on your opponent's campaign. So it says Hillary Rodham Clinton approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections. Oh, they love that idea. That should distract from their own missing emails. And the point is to make the Russian play a domestic issue. So they stain, they tarnish Trump and his administration as being colluding with Russia. Here's another email saying it's an important story. Yeah, I've kind of repeated that. They like the long-term affair to demonize Putin and Trump. And then later the FBI will put more oil into the fire. And just 5 days later from this email, or 6 days, this is actually the 9-year anniversary of when Peter Strzok opened the counter intel investigation called Crossfire Hurricane, based on no evidence that the Russians had infiltrated Trump's circle. It's a fishing expedition. They used the bogus Steele dossier. Oh, you got a big mess on their hands. Alrighty. Hello, Deb. Great to have you. Coloration of use for alligator. Yeah, I wonder. I don't know. What to do if these people are convicted and guilty? What happens? Lock them up, put them in Gitmo or alligator Alcatraz. Maybe or something worse. Maybe they'll have to do a vote. Let the people vote. What should they do if they're guilty? I don't know. But apparently they were sloppy because they got thousands of the Russia hoax documents found in an FBI secret room in burn bags. So thousands of sensitive documents related to the Russia collusion hoax. They were just found stuffed in this secret room, including the classified appendix to John Durham's final report. It's a standard disposal method for sensitive documents designated classified or above. Fortunately, they found it, if we can believe that. I don't know. It's weird that they just left it there, but they sealed it in a room. But I know the FBI building, they were thinking about moving out anyway, and supposedly it's all falling apart. So I'd like to believe it, and I'd like to believe that there's some evidence on these people. We know that we know that there was no Russian collusion, so they cooked up the story. Now it's just a matter of gathering the evidence. It looks like they've certainly found quite a bit. I don't see them disputing anything. I'm curious about how all that came together with the secret room. So Patel apparently found the documents in a hidden, sensitive, compartmented information facility, which he may have referenced, which he did reference on the Rogan podcast, a room with hard drives and documents that no one had ever seen or heard of. So, hell of a find. Well, the assessment critical of the Russian hoax was based on basically nothing. And we've got a new whistleblower case. Apparently people were inside the intelligence community were outraged. They were trying to say, no, this is not the assessment that we came up with. So they're horrified to see that these people that they trusted and worked for decided to make up this bogus story. And they tried to do the right thing and say something about it. And they were shut down. One of them was even threatened, like, you're not getting a promotion unless you sign off that you agree with this, intelligence assessment we want to run with. So this is getting worse for them. Sad. So many of the good people that are inside Washington, these whistleblowers that were just great public servants, great patriots, trying to do the right thing, but they've been infiltrated by Hydra, this cabal, the deep state, dug their tentacles in DC and corrupted all of the intel agencies, or at least a lot of it. But there are some good people, so hopefully they'll find this guy and promote him. And that ain't easy, going against the deep state from within. So, this article out of Racket News, talking about the last-minute inclusion of the Steele dossier in the briefing materials. They said they weren't going to use them. They misled a lot of people on the inside because they wanted to go with that narrative that somehow Trump was colluding with Russia. So, I guess an additional interesting angle has to do with the investigation of the special counsel John Durham and the whistleblower's apparent inability across years to connect with him, despite appearing to have evidence relevant to his probe. And so if you want to know why few people in federal service blow the whistle, this expert might offer insight. So that they lack the mechanism or authority to convey potentially relevant whistleblower information regarding potential criminal activity to the DOJ special counsel. So if you're a good patriot saying, hey, this is BS, there's no Russian collusion with Trump, who are you going to go to? Comey, Clapper, Brennan, Hillary, Obama, Susan Rice, John Bolton. I mean, who knows? Not John Bolton. John Kerry. You're screwed. No one's going to hear it. So, anyway, good stuff. This is from Matt Taibbi, so he's putting out a lot of good content. So is Mike Benz. Here's a tweet from John Harold here, showing the kind of the smoking guns here from Leonardo Bernardo, showing Hillary approved the plan to vilify Trump, and that they said that these emails were likely authentic, and that there's actually the Russians that in fact hacked Bernardo's emails. The goal stated in the email was to essentially create enough buzz around Russian interference that it would be considered a critical infrastructure threat, which would allow Obama and their intelligence community to speed up searching for evidence, even though it's still unavailable because they didn't find any because there was no collusion. But they already knew that. But if you find any sort of business dealings or Paul Manafort or anything, you can start to build a case and just keep digging until hopefully you can find something to stick but it didn't work. Right. So the email that's being passed around right now by Grassley, she can kind of distance herself from this because it's not her email. Who knows? She deleted all of her emails and then used the bleach bit to make sure that nobody could find them forensically. I guess they could play that game. I just don't know. But I don't know. I think it's kind of, it seems obvious that, Hillary would, this fits her MO. This is what they wanted to believe. The story that they went with. And I guess it would probably have to be approved by her at the top. We'll have to start digging into Fusion GPS and Mark Elias, her super lawyer, and the DNC. There should be enough somewhere, I hope. Hello, Kat. Do-si-do. Okay. Well, here's another tweet here from John Harold. The intelligence community intercepted Russian reports of the DNC communications. It showed the Clinton campaign, with support from special services, is preparing scandalous revelations of business revelations between Trump and the Russian mafia. So it's funny. It seems like the Russians knew way back when that they were going to go with this story. And they thought Hillary would win. I mean, yeah, they're watching the deep state apparatus basically trying to rig things, and they never said anything. It's interesting. So whistleblower reveals how they were threatened a supervisor to go along with the Obama-directed Russia hoax intelligence assessment, even though they knew it was not credible or accurate. Whistleblower refused. This is, interesting tweet here from Tulsi Gabbard. This just a few hours ago. So, yeah, they released the whistleblower's firsthand account of what happened in January 2017 to expose the egregious manipulation and manufacturing of intelligence carried out at the highest levels of government. Thanks to this courageous whistleblower and others who are coming forward, ensure the American people know the truth and hold those responsible accountable. Okay, here's another one. Let's take a look at Hillary Clinton, who's guilty of criminal conspiracy, conspiring with intelligence and White House officials to violate the CIA's charter and executive order explicitly prohibiting the agency from conducting intelligence operations against United States citizens within the United States. So, yeah, she basically directed this. It was her and Obama and Brennan, Clapper, Comey, and the like, all involved in a massive criminal conspiracy, and used the power of our intelligence agencies against their opponent, a political opponent, and tried to rig the election, tried to get Hillary elected. Okay, so here she is. This is this classic moment.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
We want to remind the audience to please not...
Okay, there you have it. She knew. It's the cold-blooded liar. No, it's time to send her off. And then they ran that offensive for 2 years during Trump's first term. impeached him twice, and then ran that bogus Russian collusion scam. So they couldn't go after her. But now gloves are off, man. I know TK Mark is pessimistic, but I'm looking at this and I'm going, these guys are fucked. I mean, it's just a matter of time. TikTok, if all this stuff is legit, and it looks like they are, and they're just dripping out the evidence right now, you're going to see a big sea change. And I think at some point, there's going to be enough of an outrage to call for the arrest of some of these people. The leftists should be outraged. I would hope so at some point, realizing, oh yeah, you've been lied to for years. You were taking advantage of. These people took advantage of you, Hillary and the like. And they admitted also using, they were going to use their own like media to prop everything up. Let's find the part. It's in these files. If I can find it. Here we go. So they're saying that the evidence that is regrettably still unavailable in regards to what the Russians had, that Trump was colluding. So they'll, in absence of direct evidence, they will use CrowdStrike and Threat Connect will supply the media. So they'll just manufacture it. And of course, they leaked stuff to the press. Washington Post, New York Times, the usual suspects. Okay, let me find another piece here. Interesting tweet. So basically, the newly declassified documents prove Hillary concocted the Russiagate collusion hoax, and CrowdStrike was to act as the media mouthpiece in the absence of actual evidence. And you can look at CrowdStrike's CEO lying directly into the camera, claiming that Russia was responsible for the internal DNC leak. This is the same CrowdStrike that told us the DNC server connected to Seth Rich was hacked by the Russians, but according to these documents, they knew that Russia did not hack the election. So Russia did get, I guess, apparently hack some of these emails, but the DNC was most likely done by Seth Rich, and that was an internal job. And of course, they offed him. Maybe so they didn't, maybe in part because they wanted to go with the story that it was the Russians, and then they could feed into the Trump connection. But it was actually Seth Rich. In fact, let me run that video real quick. Here it is. It's Brian Williams.
These days, however, and importantly, he is the chief
Let me try to run this at regular speed.
security officer at CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is the firm, Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, approached by the FBI, by the government, as a vendor, either once this attack was discovered or in a preventative manner. Either way, tell us what you know about this attack.
Yeah, Brian, we actually were called by the DNC through their counsel when they saw that there were some irregularities. They were concerned about potential breach within their environment. We came in and did our typical incident response. We deployed certain pieces of technology that we use to try to get some visibility into the extent, the depth, and breadth of this particular breach. In the course of this, working very closely with the IT staff of the DNC, we were able to identify with a very high degree of confidence a group that we have attributed back to the Russian government targeting that DNC network.
So he knows right there he's absolutely cold-bloodedly lying. This is the CrowdStrike guy. So they're just manufacturing. You're going to go on Brian Williams and the NBC. And then of all the other guys going on to their various networks, spreading the lies, giving it legitimacy.
We know with certainty, my time in the Bureau and now at CrowdStrike, that foreign intelligence services are constantly interested in political processes.
Do you even know what you're sitting on?
WikiLeaks never sits on material. Whistleblowers go to significant efforts to get us material and often very significant risks. There's a 27-year-old works for the DNC who was shot in the back, murdered just 2 weeks ago for unknown reasons as he was walking down the street in Washington. So
that was just a robbery, I believe, wasn't it?
No, there's no finding. So
what are you suggesting? What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that our sources take risks, and they become concerned to see things occurring like that.
But was he one of your sources then? I mean,
we don't comment on who our sources are.
But why make the suggestion?
There you go. You got a corporate hack trying to interview a real journalist. He's being very careful, talking about Seth Rich, putting that together. He was the one who leaked it. What didn't come from the Russians. The DNC hack. Internal from Seth Rich, and then they had him killed in a botched robbery, but we don't believe that. We still haven't gotten that information yet. And that laptop is also, I guess, sitting around somewhere in the FBI headquarters. Hopefully they'll do something about it now that Cash is in charge in due time. But I mean, they'd have to open that up too at some point during this, as they, prosecute the deep state. Seth Rich should be brought to justice for that, or that story should be revisited and find out what actually happened there. So DNC's definitely got their fingerprints on that. Try to get away with it. So let's see. CNN, take them down next. I got this little story coming up about Media Matters. They're going down. That's like a massive thing. That's a major event. There's good news happening. Might not getting the arrest yet. Said that line and did about arresting her. I don't know. It's very difficult to do. Again, I'm trying to ask you, TK Mark, if you were Attorney General for a week, or if you could do that. It's not easy. You got to be careful about having everything there. So, the media is going to come at you hard once you start arresting somebody. They were going to arrest Brennan. You better have your shit together. I don't know. I think that's jumping the gun, but I could be wrong. So I think you got to politically destroy them in the media for a few weeks. Try to get more support, more cause on their side. And then once you have enough people calling for the arrest, and it'll all be celebrated. So I don't know. Crown fight. Governor Wally. Like the ring of that. I don't know. Which state should I run in? Tennessee, Minnesota? Maybe I should go back to Minnesota, take over that wacko Walls. Tampon Tim. I don't know if I want to go live in Minnesota year round again, but man, if I had a chance to run for governor and take down Tim Walz, I would do it. There you go. Will announce my gubernatorial candidacy. But I'd have to move there first, wouldn't I? I don't know when the next election is. If I could only live there like half time, that would be great. I'd love to have a cabin out there in the lake country somewhere. I just don't know if I could live in Minnesota full time again. All right. Assange paid dearly for telling the truth as well. But not that corporate whore who's grilling him in that section. Yeah, one of the real heroes of our time. There you go. California. That would be interesting. Yeah, the weather would be nicer. That'd be fun, going against Newsom and I don't know if Kamala is not going to run for governor of California. It's going to be she's going to go for president again. That's going to be hilarious. Blake, you're the 10IC. Yeah. Cool. I can go camp out on Deb's bunk bed. Establish residency again. Make California great again. Could be done. Man, they ruined that state. That would be cool. All right. Well, we'll see. All right. Thank you for your endorsements. Okay, let me get back to the whistleblower stuff here. Packing my bags before I head out west again. All righty, Clapper, the crew, they threatened the whistleblower who refused to sign off on a fabricated intel assessment. This is how you get promoted into the Hydra organization, the cabal, the deep state. Go along with their criminal conspiracy and you'll go far. So I don't know. Yeah, this whistleblower should be absolutely promoted because he stood strong, risked everything to be truthful, even behind the lines amongst the hostile regime trying to sabotage the new regime. So now they're finding this out now. James Clapper threatened to withhold a promotion from a senior intelligence official unless he concurred with his BS ICA. So it's one of the top analysts in different offices of national intelligence. But anyway, covered that. Oh, and speaking of Minnesota, I was trying to look up Mike Benz here because he made a reference. The drop today, the classified annex from 2016. You see, you can't believe this. Yeah, I mean that's pretty amazing. 9 years, and we're starting to find out the truth now. So Mike Benz having to clear his head, go to the gym, and purify himself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka. And he's going to record a video summarizing the magnitude of this scandal. So I had to ask Grok if Mike Benz was from Minnesota, making the Lake Minnetonka reference, which has to do with the Chappelle Show, the legendary skit with Prince and Charlie Murphy, true story. But I don't know if he's actually from Minnesota. I don't think it says anywhere on his bio. I was just curious at the obscure reference, or it's just been a while. Give up on the Golden State. Man, I did have a lot of fun. I do miss California in many ways. 2019, 2020, I had some good times. But I don't know. Yeah, that's going to be a bit to clean up. Oh, it is hailing. There's been some good developments. Clapper carrying STD. Lake shrinkage. Kenneth is a fellow Minnesotan. Do you live by Lake Minnetonka? Anyway, good stuff. Anyway, let's see. There's an interesting tweet here. There's no limitations on the statute of limitations for murder, so hopefully we'll get justice for Seth Rich. It's a lot of interesting, the way some of these conspiracies are all tying together. And I suppose one more while we're on the subject, I did allude to that, is that media matters. Here's some big news. So Washington Post has already got a big problem. They've got rid of their major fact checker, Glenn Kessler. They've been buying out several of their personalities. CNN's already had lost a lot of people, cut staff. Don Lemon, I forget, it's been a while. But they've had a little reckoning of their own. And many other people in the leftist media, and with Stephen Colbert, the talk shows. And there's going to be more cuts coming. But this is a huge one right here. Media matters. They've almost kind of been, they were very powerful during the Obama years and Trump for a very long time. It's really up until like the last couple of years when they've kind of disappeared into the background. And a lot of that, I mean, it's self-inflicted, but Elon and Trump really crushed media matters. And because they basically cooked up they went after all the advertisers on X by making up this BS, by basically rigging the algorithms on X to make it look like they were promoting like Nazi BS and attributing that to Trump or attributing that to Elon and then targeting all the advertisers, costing them, I don't know, $75 million. Actually, let me go through this thread because I'm just regurgitating what I barely remember. But we'll look at the bullet points here. So, media matters on the brink of collapse after 2 decades of smearing conservatives. This is a George Soros funded attack dog under siege, and these to be used for credibility on so many things. For the leftist media, the radicalized, insane leftist propaganda. So they're under siege from the lawsuits by Elon Musk, the FTC probes, state attorney general investigations. They got donor fraud, defamation, lying that destroyed Twitter. So it was founded in 2003. They spent 20 years using dark money, faked fact checks, advertiser boycotts, and weaponized media to cancel anybody the Democrats hate. So they'd go after, could be Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck, all the who's who. Try to go after their advertisers. Now they're drowning. They got $15 million in legal bills and may have to shut down. I mean, they had some deep pockets. I guess not as deep as Southern Poverty Law Center. We'll see if they're next. They've been kind of quiet lately, too. I don't know what's going on there. But media matters. I mean, they were powerful 10 years ago. I swear, I used to get into flame wars on Twitter with their journalists or hacks, flacks, and lackeys, and now they're just gone. So they've cut their staff. They've begged donors. They tried to settle with Elon Musk. But the lawsuits won't stop. They're guilty, and now they're caught. And their donors like George Soros and Susie Tompkins Bell, or Boole, or whatever, this ghoul, they're suddenly MIA. One ally said maybe it's time to shut it down. So yeah, Media Matters a couple of years ago, they manipulated X's algorithms, ads to show Nazi content, and it caused $75 million advertiser exodus. And it was all based on a lie. So yeah, they cost Elon Musk and X, the Twitter, and the massive purchase that he made. And they deliberately, spread lies to shut down all of his advertising and destroy his business, destroy our social media platform for free speech. Elon Musk here saying, yeah, Media Matters is pure evil. They absolutely are. He said they will not pursue just the organization, but anyone funding the organization. So since then, Musk has filed suits in multiple countries. Trump's FTC launched an investigation. And then you have Attorney Generals Paxton and Bailey in Missouri opening probes. They spooked the donors, staff revolted, and even their law firm bailed. That would be the Mark Elias. Who's a bad dude. They were demanding $4 million in unpaid fees. Media Matters was stunned. How do they treat people who have been clients for 16 years? They're friends, but they're just ruthless. So Media Matters tried to settle, but X and Elon Musk demanded that they have a full retraction and take every single penny left on their account and then shut down permanently. That's basically just full unconditional surrender and give us all your money and then quit or nothing. And they had him dead to rights. So good riddance. So they're under federal investigation again. FTC is probing whether Media Matters illegally colluded with other watchdog groups. Hopefully Southern Poverty Law Center is tied up in that. They weaponized misinformation to crush dissent, and now they might be crushed instead. So it's a big felony. People could go to prison, and it's not just Media Matters. It's also the giant advertisers too, like Disney. Democrats built a censorship industrial complex powered by fake nonprofits like Media Matters, and they were weaponized. So now it's all collapsing, and you can thank Trump and Musk and some of these swing states. Media Matters wanted to cancel people, cancel you. Yeah, 2 decades silencing speech, smearing patriots, rigging the media, and now they are in a lot of trouble. And here's Elon Musk saying another in the find out part of the fuck around and find out. So that's pretty awesome info. Big development. Don Lemon. Yeah, he's out. That'd be good. Yeah, TK Mark. I want to get up on stage in Minnesota, come back to my home state, and debate tampons with Tim Walz. That'd be historic. All right. Let's do it. Okay. It's Russian limbo. Yeah, it's a huge. Can I emphasize how huge that is? I mean, for so long, for so many years, they had a powerful presence on Twitter X, and people used them as credibility. Well, according to Media Matters, they said this, and it'd be just outlandish, crazy leftist propaganda. So glad that they are going down. Yeah, that's awesome. Elon's been an American hero. Really has. All right. Well, let's move on. Am I about the 1 hour mark? Oh, I'm right there. Okay, I'm making good time. I think I'm through the major stories. The rest are fairly quick, I think. Maybe. So Hillary colluded with the FBI to deflect from scandals? Absolutely. At least that's definitely in part. The deep state threatened whistleblowers over an ICA. Yes, it appears that James Clapper did threaten a whistleblower. There could have been more, and they're just unable to do anything. By now they'll get their story out. So anyway, we'll turn it against the deep state now. But next story, the Pelosi family, should they be investigated for insider trading? So she melted down when she was on CNN with Jake Tapper, bringing up Trump's comments on her insider stock trading scandal. Guess she was misled there a little bit. But you know what? Sometimes Jake Tapper does some good journalism. He has his good moments. For all of the flaws and the bad things, he occasionally will turn things around, do the right thing when it suits him. Like finally admitting that the media was lying about Joe Biden's cognitive decline. Now he just put Pelosi in the hot seat, made her squirm. So Senator Josh Hawley introduced his Preventing Elected Leaders from Owning Securities and Investment Acts. They call this the Pelosi Act. It's so obvious that she's doing insider trading that they named this bill after her. She basically ruined it. She ruined the racket for everybody. Because she mysteriously became a multimillionaire by just the most impressive stock trading in the history of stock trading. That put the best brokers in the business to shame. So yeah, she made a fortune with her husband, who was into stocks. Let's we'll watch a video here. Oh wait. Okay, sorry, I had a different one. Okay, let's go with this one.
Let me just read what he said. I'm sorry that we had some sort of technical issue. Nancy Pelosi became rich.
Why do you have to read that? We're here to talk about the 60th anniversary of Medicaid. That's what I agreed to come to talk about.
But I wanted
what that means in the election.
I wanted to give you a chance just to respond. He accused you of insider trading. What's your response to that?
That's ridiculous. In fact, I very much support the trading of members of Congress. Not that I think anybody's doing anything wrong if they are.
Oh my God, she is nailed and she doesn't know how to react. It's funny.
They are prosecuted and they go to jail. But because of the confidence it instills in the American...
Who are they talking about, Nancy? What is the Pelosi bill all about?
People, don't worry about this. But I have no concern about the obvious investments that had been made over time.
Really? I think if we took a closer look at those investments, you might feel the same way.
Not into it. My husband is, but it isn't anything to do with anything insider.
It's nothing to do with it. I gotta repeat that. What the hell did she just say?
It isn't anything to do with anything.
It isn't anything to do with anything. Okay. The Pelosi bill. Nothing to do with anything. She has no idea.
Insider. But the president has his own exposure, so he's always projecting. He's always projecting.
She's actually talking about projecting as she's projecting. The poster child for insider trading on the hot seat. Trying to project it's something else, and she's not worried about anything.
And let's not give him any more time on that, please. We're going forward here, and I'm very proud.
Oh, she would love to move forward and have that just quietly go away.
Proud of my family, and while he might make fun of us, while somebody inspired by him breaks into our home and hits my husband.
No, she's playing the victim by talking about, how her husband Paul was attacked by that lunatic with the hammer, which was an awful story. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about your insider trading. How did you enrich?
In a deadly fashion, hits my husband over the head, and he thinks that's a riot. I'd rather not go into some of my other...
What a... Yeah. Great way to twist it. So here's The reason that members of Congress, or the reason they're banning members of Congress from trading stocks, is literally because of Nancy Pelosi. She's so frickin' greedy. Well, those are my words. So she's rightfully criticized because she makes $174,000 a year, yet she has a net worth of $413 million. And in 2024 alone, Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio grew 70% in 1 year, outperformed every single large hedge fund, and doubled even the returns of Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. Wow. I mean, it was, I think a good year investing in the stock market pays like 5%. Maybe 10% would be a great year. 20% might be just some historic, phenomenal year. You get lucky on the next big new Apple, the new Microsoft. But to get 70% in 1 year and outperform everybody in the industry by leaps and bounds. Yeah, we know you must be doing something there, Nancy. You know something's up, and you're feeding that information to your husband. And she's still there. I mean, no wonder she can't leave. She's getting all that juicy intel she can use to her advantage. Yeah, certainly did ruin it for the rest. Yeah, when caught, deny everything, and then project it onto your opponents, and then play victim. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's right out of the playbook. Just wired that way. Yeah, so, I mean, there's good things happening. I mean, she did get arrested, but she's being shamed and exposed, and now they're going to shut down the gravy train there in D.C. Okay, so that's that one. Pelosi family should be investigated for insider trading. Absolutely. But at least that's been a nice development. So next one, I guess we got a few more topics on Israel, because of course that is a huge ongoing saga. We'll try to go quick. I guess the first one, is it time to increase AIPAC's influence in Washington? Out of natural news, you get the major Israeli human rights groups accusing Tel Aviv of genocide in Gaza. Seems like this is a story that's not going away. It's growing legs. Israel's in a massive PR crisis. The world can no longer unsee things anymore. There's really no other way to describe some of these pictures. Does that look like genocide? Is that, oh my God, what happened there? What's left of Gaza? Anyway, two major Israeli human rights organizations are accusing Israel of committing genocide in Gaza. Reports are highlighting target attacks on civilians, hospitals, and infrastructure. So other leading groups, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, UN experts, and genocide scholars are agreeing that Israel's actions do meet the legal definition of genocide under international law, finding at least about 60,000 Palestinians killed, mostly women and children, with almost 145,000 wounded. 90% of the schools have been destroyed and 80% of the water infrastructure is ruined. Starvation has killed more than 88 children, with 40,000 infants at imminent risk due to Israel's aid blockade. even though they're trying to say that somehow Hamas is the ones responsible for stopping it because they're trying to make more money off of it. If we believe that, both groups are criticizing world leaders for complicity through silence or support and demand urgent legal and diplomatic action to stop the assault before Gaza is completely destroyed. So the international experts agree it's a genocide. No other way to spin what's happening. And everything's changed now. So many people can no longer support this anymore. Here's one with liberal Zionists speaking out against Netanyahu as the ethnic cleansing of Gaza accelerates. I played this the other day. I'll play it quick again. Once again, a quick rundown on some of the people who can no longer remain silent. Here's Jon Stewart.
I feel like I'm watching something that is so self-evidently inhumane and horrific, and to be told that I have to shut up because I risk the Jewish state by speaking out, I would say the opposite.
Yeah. It's kind of how I feel. I really don't want to talk about this issue. And I feel like if I do talk about this issue, it only opens the door for me to get, censored worse or banned or what have you. Targeted and attacked and undermined and destroyed. But they can't stop everybody. And yeah, everybody needs to speak out because they will try to shut things down. Piers Morgan has changed. Even Megyn Kelly is saying Israel's losing its standing with the rest of the world, losing its moral reputation, its moral high ground. Even Seth Meyers, the corporate media comedian, is now openly calling out Israel, and Tim Pool saying, yeah, that Israel's losing the PR game. It's over.
It's a really interesting clip from the Seth Meyers show. Seth Meyers, of course, is a corporate liberal activist. And on his show, he is coming out and basically stating it. Israel is the oppressor in this story. That's the narrative. Check this out.
Looking for a rating. No, I just want to pause to say this is a comedy show, and I know a lot of people are going to say, why are you talking about this? Just make jokes, and we try every day. We try. But we're also human beings, and we're appalled by the unspeakable horrors currently unfolding in Gaza, and our government is complicit, which is why we have a duty as Americans to speak out on a horrific crisis that has been foreseeable for a long time, as Senator Bernie Sanders explained months ago. If even Trump is forced to acknowledge the reality of the crisis, that means it is long past time to act and end the suffering.
Long past time to act and end the suffering. Even Donald Trump acknowledges real starvation in Gaza and tells Israel to let in every ounce of food. This has been the ongoing narrative for some time that seems to be growing. Now, I've said in the past that a lot of the sentiment appears to be generated online, and some of it appears to be disingenuous. But for whatever reason, it is. Israel is losing the narrative game. And, look, by all means, say whatever you want about Israel. I don't care. Say whatever you want about Hamas. I don't care. The point here is, no matter who you are, no matter what side you're on, no matter what you believe, Israel is losing the PR game. Thank you and have a nice day. Donald Trump calling out the situation in Gaza. Seth Meyers, corporate mainstream liberal comedy, calling out the situation in Gaza, for which Israel is the villain. Now, to see that in the corporate press, I find very interesting.
Yeah. They tried to ignore it as much as they could. But now it's just, it's overwhelming. And people just, they can't. It should be sickening to everybody what's happening if they're being shown the information. But it's spilling over. So, Interesting to see that. I never thought I would see that. Israel has finally overplayed their hand. Not, the country, but this hostile Bibi regime. Yeah, got to speak out against it, or the humanity will never stop. And I think you're right, Deb. Interesting how that works. Bibi and Hitler. Gotta wonder if roles were reversed. Things happen. Yeah, Bibi is a monster. And I think historically, when they look back, he's got to be in there, right? One of the worst people that ever existed. Corrupt and went after their enemy in horrific ways. Here's another damning way to look at it. Here's a video from Glenn Greenwald saying the age groups in the United States and the support of Israel. Yes, and the media is panicking over the sea change. So here we go.
Pew Research Center, April 8th, 2025. Negative views of Israel have risen in the United States. And what's always so interesting about this chart and ones like it is that negative views of Israel are rising in every demographic group. Here's Republicans ages 18 to 49. So about all Republicans 50 and under. I mean, to say that the pro-Israel position was a borderline religious view, or at least an unquestioned dogma in Republican politics, is to put that mildly. Although you could actually make the case that it's more so in the Democratic Party. I would make that case, actually. The last two presidents who really challenged Israel were Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush. Although Obama did to a little bit of an extent. But it's a bipartisan consensus. That's been the key to the whole thing the whole time. And here you see that negative views of Israel among Republicans ages to 18 to 49 are at 50%. 50%, so majority.
Okay. This is a great illustration. And it shows one thing. Like I said, I think Fox overall does a pretty good job covering the news, current events compared to MSNBC, CNN, where I would have not agreed with that during the Bush term, the Bush years. But where Fox really gets it wrong, really terribly, is when I talk about Israel. It could be against Russia, war, what have you, foreign policy in general. Very much neocon, 100% pro-Israel. So the 50-plus-year-old people that watch Fox News are still, their views on Israel have changed very little. That's by far their most supportive group, 50-year-olds who watch Fox News. So 19 to 23%. But everybody else has changed dramatically. Huge swings, turning against Israel. From our greatest ally to the biggest villain in the world. So, that's pretty damning. They're in a lot of trouble. I don't know how they're going to fix that. They're going to have to get rid of Bibi. He's a massive liability. We'll see I don't know if Fox is ever going to change their views, because those people are in a bubble. It shouldn't be that, the 23%, it should be a lot higher than that. It's because that's the propaganda aspect of Fox News, at least on the subject of Israel, because they will not allow that differing point of view to criticize their greatest ally. Anywho, it's all changed. I gotta listen to this soon. Be on my homework for this weekend. I guess this guy did a great interview with Tucker Carlson, talking about Israel and all of our foreign policy and why it's such a mess. Professor John Mearsheimer talking about our special relationship with Israel. Why would America spend $1 trillion in effect to serve the interests of another country? which he responds with the Israel lobby and the power that they have.
I think the lobby is an incredibly powerful interest group, and I'm choosing my words carefully. It has awesome power, and it basically is in a position where it can profoundly influence U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East. And indeed, it affects foreign policy outside of the Middle East. But when it comes to the Middle East, again, the Palestinian issue in particular, it has awesome power. And there's no president who is willing to buck the lobby.
Sorry, that was on high speed.
Is in the Middle East, and again, the Palestinian issue in particular, it has awesome power. And there's no president who is willing to buck the lobby.
Well, there was one, John F. Kennedy, who wanted to, I believe, have AIPAC register as a foreign lobbying group, which they should be. But man, they give politicians a lot of money to support them, which is pretty alarming. People are afraid to go against the lobby. But I think they're finally crumbling. Because people around the world are condemning what they're seeing, and many Americans are now realizing, yeah, why are we beholden to this little country over there? Why are so many of our politicians in favor of blind support for this country and all the things that they're doing? Some of them which are not healthy for us, whether that's getting us involved in war or whether they're committing atrocities against their neighbors, and we're supposed to pretend it's all good. So Representative MTG, maybe the only GOP representative to have the courage to call the things in Gaza as a, referring to that as a genocide. Also, just talk to a Christian pastor. There are children starving. Christians have been killed and injured. Yeah, it's awful that Hamas was killing and kidnapping innocent people on October 7th. Absolutely unacceptable. But why does America continue to funding Israel now after everything that they've done since? So, it's a lot to unpack. Then they're under fire, so what are they going to do? Are they going to clean up their ways, apologize for the propaganda, the lies, the war crimes? Or are they just going to use their power and influence through AIPAC and others, whatever, the Israel lobby, to use censorship bills to suppress supposed anti-Semitism? So at least Congress is gridlocked, reportedly preventing a passage of multiple Anti-Defamation League-backed censorship bills aimed at suppressing First Amendment-protected criticism of Jews in Israel. They're calling it the Stop Hate Act. So we still got a fight going on. And they're scared they're losing the narrative. We got the whole world turning against them. And their response is to shut down anybody who criticizes them. Here we go.
Talking to the regulators, I mean, I think it is time for government to step up here. These companies are, you know, they say too.
Yeah, so here's John Greenblatt of the ADL.
Big to fail. These companies are too big to just leave alone. I mean, they're almost monopolistic. And again, they allow for this unmitigated rise of the kind of hate that explodes in real life, just like you're seeing on the screen. So yeah, it is.
Hatred for the Zionist Bibi regime to commit genocide and carpet bomb tens of thousands of innocent women and children. That should be condemned. It should be criticized.
It's time for these companies to demonstrate the same kind of accountability that we see in other media businesses and simply, knock the Nazis, knock the anti-Zionists off the platform once and for all.
Excellent.
Really? Knock anti-Zionist. Wouldn't they like that? Take down all their critics. Because, yeah, Zionism, people should be skeptical. Who are these God's chosen people that want to kill their neighbors, get America to go fight all their battles? They're going to censor us, buy off our politicians. It's not good. And that's the Zionists. It's not an anti-Semitic thing, but they're going to try to twist that. So it's the fight is on, but good developments. People are seeing through it. They're sick of it. One more thing to note on this subject is that with Canada, yes, I don't want to call it bad news, but I'm a little not supportive of this particular Trump post. Trump is saying Canada's backing of the Palestinian statehood is threatening the U.S. trade deal, which is supposed to be tomorrow, and it could trigger 35% tariffs on Canadian goods. So I'm all in favor of trying to make a deal here, but this is all about whether is Canada. So I played a clip a couple days ago talking about how the UK and England, they're going to recognize Palestine as its own state. They're under fire for that. Canada too. And so since Israel is our ally, I guess that's threatening our deal with Canada. I don't know. I think they should be two separate things. We're not going to do a deal with Canada because we're going to support our ally. Because they're trying to say that these people that live in that region for 2,000 years should be recognized. I don't know if I agree with this. This is not a great take. Even Matt Walsh was critical. Because Trump said, yeah, Canada just announced that it's backing statehood for Palestine. Why shouldn't they be? Or they're just, second class people? I mean, I don't know. It's part of that apartheid that they have now. He says that will make it very hard for us to make a trade deal with them. So Matt Walsh is saying this is ridiculous. If a trade deal with Canada is beneficial, it should go forward, regardless of their stance on Palestine. The benefit of the American people should be the guiding principle here. I agree. So I don't know where Trump is. Probably got a bad advisor there. Yeah, Palestine's been around for a long time. He's showing an old map here, old Roman map from 45 years after the death of Christ. Maps are a little bit clunky from back in the day. About the modern technology, satellites. Yeah, it's on the map. We can't recognize them. We're going to recognize the occupiers that are there now. I don't know. Doesn't seem fair. But anyway, I digress. So let's get back to it's a three-parter. Is it time to increase AIPAC's influence in Washington? No, it's time to scale them back, expose it. I've said like maybe a 4-year plan to take their power away and have them register as a foreign agency. So we should nix deal with Canada for aiding Palestine? No, it should be separate things. And finally, anti-Zionists. Should they be kicked off social media apps? No. This is a free speech country. People are allowed to have stupid opinions. Even if they are anti-Semitic, we can condemn them too. But there should always be healthy discourse. The people that are calling for anti-Zionists to be kicked off of social media are cowards, or Greenblatt. He's fearful that people are turning on Zionism, as they should be skeptical at least. Okay, but that's all I've got there. Okay, we'll move on. Yeah, I don't. It's good. I think Christians need to have like a reevaluation of their support for Israel. It's weird that it's gotten conflated with the biblical side. Very different country. And I can believe it. These are God's chosen people thousands of years ago. God finding the right tribe, putting his people in the promised land. I can respect the religion and the old stories. And maybe that's all true. But then as the people scattered over 2,000 years, and then you're bringing a separate group of people that are involved in this Zionism thing, and they think they have a claim to the land, and some of those people have no bloodline to the Hebrews. But they're masquerading as they're God's chosen people. So, it's not good. Yeah, I don't think that would. And again, I would think that if Jesus came back to Israel, how would he be treated? Like, would they embrace him? No. The hardcore Zionists that believe in the Talmud, if I'm pronouncing that right, they're ancient texts. They think Jesus was a troublemaker and the son of a whore, and that he's boiling in human excrement for eternity. Look that up. So they see him as a troublemaker. There's even a video from Ben Shapiro when he was on Joe Rogan, saying that Jesus was basically like a troublemaker, a rabble-rouser. I don't know. But they don't like them. Not Christian. Not saying they're bad now, but I can't imagine Bibi embracing Jesus and saying, "Yes, Lord, so glad you're here, bringing, the Prince of Peace." No, he'd have him locked up and tortured, probably. I'm not going to look at him as the Messiah. Yeah, they're perversing. They're twisting everything. Yeah, anybody looking at the nation of Israel, this modern variation of it, the things that they do, you can't think that they're holy or godly or any of that stuff. So I would agree, Deb. Can't speak for God or Jesus. I would love to get their opinion, if that was possible, on what do they think of Israel and the Netanyahu regime. Anyway, all right, I got one more quick one. I can't imagine they'd be pleased, but I could be wrong. Last one. Minorities, are they being banned from American Eagle shops? All right. Yeah, the left has lost their minds. Now they're just manufacturing outrage. It's like they're fantasizing about being racially discriminated so they can stand up. Like they're sitting at the lunch counter at Woolworths back in the day. Jesus came to end religions, and that's one of his final one of his major teachings, I guess. It's hard to say. There's so much of the Those old texts have been manipulated and mistranslated. But basically, yeah, the spirituality, it came from within. You didn't have to worry about the Pharisees or whoever to interpret things for you. The kingdom of heaven was in your heart, something, I don't know. Went to Catholic school for a few years, 4 years actually. I could have a respect for it, but it really didn't stick with me. But I can definitely be pro-spiritual and stand for good. I really hope there is a Jesus and he comes back, because this world could use it. Okay, thank you very much, Deb. It was great to have you. Yeah, and I'm about to wrap things up because it's getting a little bit long today. Going past my hour. I'm trying to do the 60 to 90 minute window, and I keep going over 90. Bad boy. I watch my time management. It's been some heavy news days. Good stuff lately. But anyway, we've got a blonde-haired black woman says she can't go into the American Eagle store. The people are fantasizing about being discriminated against. It's a true story. I was in an American Eagle yesterday. It's in Nashville, Tennessee. And it was busy, man. It was like a Wednesday afternoon to go run some errands. And I thought it'd be fun to go to the American Eagle and pick up a little something I was going to wear on the show today. Show my support for American Eagle and their advertising. But they didn't have any of the good graphic t-shirts I wanted. I don't know if it's just the end of the summer. They're onto their fall clothing. They just didn't have like the prominent logos. I used to wear a lot of American Eagle. It was always an interesting outlet. They made good stuff. And I was born in 1977 when they founded the company. So I always liked the Eagle and the 77s, but I just didn't have anything there that I liked. So I didn't bring anything. But the place was busy, man. And it's ridiculous that anybody would be discriminated there. Give us a break. There is no racial outrage, so they're making shit up. So, yeah, the woke scolders who looks at Sydney Sweeney and see Hitler and don't control culture anymore. They're running another ad. I thought this was AI. It's another Nazi propaganda ad.
Look, I didn't ask to be the king of summer. It just kind of happened. This tan? Genetics. I just got my color analysis back. Guess what? Golden summer. Literally. I can't help it. Every time I drink a Dunkin' Golden Hour refresher, it's like the sun just finds me. So if sipping these refreshers makes me the king of summer, guilty as charged.
The king of Nazism. Another Aryan master race. Drinking his Dunkin' Donuts. Whatever. Mango tea refresher drink. Or not, but I'm sure they're going to twist that. Can you spot all the Nazi dog whistles in this Sydney Sweeney ad? Babylon Bee having a little fun here with the eagles and the swastikas and the SS, Sydney Sweeney. Trying to show you the secret codes, and if you zoom in closely on her face, you'll notice the stash. Well done, well done. Piers Morgan calling it out. The Sydney Sweeney furor perfectly epitomizes why the woke left is so bonkers. This is why woke is dead. We're all just laughing at their idiocy now. It's another meme. Sydney Sweeney at its racist. But this is how they do things in their own little bubble. Until they have somebody who's more grounded in reality to just gently push back. Say, be honest. Think it's Nazi propaganda? Be honest. Okay, I hate her because she's white and blonde and pretty. Thank you. Is that all I've got? That's all I've got. I was going to ask an existential question, but I figured this would probably be running too much time. Is the path to solving hunger, disease, and poverty is AI and robotics? It might be. I mean, I don't see any other solutions on the horizon. Is that a good question? Can we solve hunger, disease, and poverty with AI and robotics? Maybe. It's part of it. Is there going to be some big things? But I mean, certainly as a super intelligence, maybe. Something that it should be shameful that we should be able to figure out on our own. I think there's good solutions. I don't think we really need AI, but in this current messed up system, maybe it would help. Maybe we need another opinion, even if it's artificial. We can't fix our own mess. We're going to need Jesus coming back. If not, we'll consult Grok. It's a shit show. But I'm here for it. It's fun to cover the news, even though it's absolutely insane. But alrighty, there we go. Greatest reality show in the galaxy. We have a front row seat, and I will cover it as long as I have to. So that's all I've got for today. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Deb and Kenneth and TK Mark and Rob, Mimi, Jody, and anybody else out there lurking, watching the replays. Please like and subscribe. Do it all again next week, Tuesday, Thursday, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we'll see what new things pop up. Hopefully it'll be some arrests. This Russian collusion scandal getting unraveled in real time. I'm sure there will be new developments. Should be fun. Okay, well, that's all I've got again. So thank you all. Love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. And we'll catch you next time.